Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lazy Hype, where we talk all things wellness. Today, I have the beautiful Anna. Anna is, how do I describe Anna?
Oh boy.
She's a model. She's, I want to say, Lazy Hype's like key influencer, key brand ambassador, like one of the first loyal customers ever. I think you've been with us through the entire journey. So I really wanted to honor you. And you're not just like brand ambassador and also like a customer. You're, I think at this point, almost like family, like literally. I think I know your mom.
Yes, you do.
It's really
It's
cool,
crazy.
right? We met at the very beginning. You were literally one of my first customers. We barely had launched.
That was so young now that I think about it. That was like, I want to
4 years
say you would
ago.
have.
We met at Hit House in Soho, and I remember it was just like any transaction, right? Like you bought a sweater. I still remember what you bought. You bought a green sweater, and then I remember
I
you
love
were
that
so
sweater.
sweet. I was like, here, take some free samples. The next thing I know, you're going to all of the trendy fitness studios, posting it, tagging it, and it becomes this like organic sales strategy for us because we're like, so Anna just posted this. Would you love to carry our merch? And they get back to us and they're like, oh, that's what Anna was wearing. And I'm like, yes. And I'm literally sending screenshots of like what you're wearing. So thank you.
I always go around, even when I was in Paris, I would go around to bar classes, I would go to boxing, and in French, I'd be having conversations with, random girls. Where did you get your top from? Oh my God, it's stunning. I've never seen anything like this. Here's their Instagram. This is where you find it. And they're just amazed by what you create. It's funny though, because I remember going to one of my yoga studios here and then seeing your merch in the store. And I was like, wait, I know them.
Ironic thing is like you definitely had to have gone there first, worn the merch, and then it became an like an instant like a
Transact.
relationship because they knew you were wearing the merch. Yeah. So you're like my secret walking billboard throughout New York, basically. Well, that now that everyone knows about. So hopefully you get lots of business.
Yes, I do. And now that I'm on a run club and running and all of your clothes, I think I'm quite literally going through all of the boroughs.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. I want to get to know you a little bit more.
So currently, me is a long story, but currently I've just graduated from NYU. I was a psychology major and a French major. Um,
Congrats.
Took a little bit of time because I took some years off. I was supposed to be a college swimmer. I got injured, realized that that wasn't the right thing for me at the time, although I just did an interview about this yesterday and I have been thinking, what would my life be like if I had chosen to swim in college instead of modeling?
Mm.
But before I started NYU, I got scouted as a model and fell in love with working in the city. Um, and I actually, before I started working in New York, I just wanted to get out of New York, and now I'm in love with it again. And so I started modeling and going to school at NYU, and then took some time to work on my mental health, and that's been a big focus for me. I love psychology, and that's what I want to do in the long run, become a psychologist.
Okay. So you got scouted for modeling, and then you just grew to love it, and so then that's how kind of it expanded.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was 13, I actually got scouted at my
Okay.
doctor's office,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which was um, cool for me. My mom was a little confused, and at the time they were saying, "Oh my God, you're so tall, you're so spirited, you seem so balanced in all aspects of life. Why don't you come in, have your mom bring you in?" And so we went to meet with an agency called Click in New York. but my parents thought it would be better for me to hold off until after I had graduated from high school, which I believe is the best decision you could possibly make. I think even at 18, you're very young and impressionable. Um, and at 13, I just wouldn't say it's the most effective thing for a 13-year-old. And so then after I got injured, and I also put a lot of pressure on myself as a swimmer. So once I got scouted in the street again, I remembered modeling, and I also thought, oh, I don't have to compete anymore, and I could focus on this instead. And so that's kind of how I got into modeling again.
Got it. Um, that's really cool to, go from this like athletic, kind of like masculine sport to then this very feminine modeling career and also be studying psychology, which is intense, right? Like it's a lot of mind. um, so that's you are very balanced to have be working your mind constantly, with psychology and also the feminine, and then also be working the masculine with like that piece. Because you're still very much like, I think you're part of a running club. You also are always boxing. Like I see all of your posts. Yeah, you definitely have that, just that inner balance, uh, which is cool to see.
It's taken me a while to get to that place, but I feel as if I'm at my best in life.
Let's talk a little bit about, yeah, that balance and like that journey to that balance, because since I've met you, you're always so calm, so grounded. To me, like everything's perfect on the outside, but then later I know that you've had like an inner journey, right? That you've been going through. So walk me through that process. Walk me through, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I always tell my therapist, she says it's very easy to imagine, and for her, she sees it as well, that from the outside, I could appear completely at ease with life and
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, and again, it's more when you're living with me or in an intense relationship with me
Yeah.
that you start to see things. Um, but I would say that my family and I have dealt with some mental health issues. I don't even like to call mental health issues because when people struggle with mental health, it's just like a tiny portion of them. And
Well,
sometimes it can be a superpower as well. And I'll get into that.
yeah.
Um, but after 13, when the kind of childhood veil comes off, I started to experience some difficulties with body image and over exercising.
Mm.
And I also think when you're training as an intense athlete, it's easy to slip into the realm of over exercising because, in a sense, you're kind of doing that anyway and not like eating enough for yourself. And at the time, what really I've been in therapy and working on my mental health for a decade now in different fashions. And recently, what I've been doing, I think, has been the absolute most effective thing. I I've been doing a kind of therapy called DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, and I think
Okay.
it's quite useful for everyone. It's a lot of people who do DBT struggle with their emotions because emotions are on a scale, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes they can, for some people, they can really sit at a really low end of the scale or high end of the scale and have trouble finding a balance in the middle ground. Um, but DBT has helped me the most by far because it teaches you four different modules and like around 36 different types of skills. But the first thing it teaches you, which I really think could benefit everyone in their life, is the difference between like emotion mind, wise mind, and rational mind or reasonable
Mhm.
mind. And so emotion mind is when you're not really thinking clearly because your anger is at a level 10. And
Yeah.
so if you're in emotion mind and having an intense argument with someone, are you really going to be effective in communicating? Um, and then wise mind is when you're kind of in tune with both the irrational mind and your emotion mind, and just feeling like you're really in tune with yourself
Mhm.
and aware of what's going on. And then rational mind, I like to say, and what I've been told is a lot like young Sheldon or Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory.
I love him. He's my
Me
favorite, literally. I've
too,
watched
me
every
too.
episode. That's so funny.
Which, in a sense, sometimes I am like, oh, I wish I could just be like young Sheldon or Sheldon sometimes because
Yeah.
he's so like, it doesn't seem, although he does deal with his emotions in kind of a different sense, um, but is very like when you're taking a test
Yeah.
and just straightforward and black and white about everything. Um, and so even just having an awareness about like what kind of mind you're in, I think is so helpful and effective really throughout life. And if you're in school or if you're in a workout class and I don't know, not so thrilled with yourself in a workout class.
Yeah.
I just think it gives you a really good sense of awareness that sometimes I don't think everyone has and people could benefit from. And so that's what helped me the most, DBT therapy. And it's a long spiel, but
No, 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 no. I had recently heard about it. It's Gabby Bernstein's latest book. I forget the title. I read it maybe 2 months ago. She talks about it, and she talks about how it's really getting curious with yourself and your emotions, and then aligning that curiosity to the four brackets, like where does it sit, right?
yeah,
So that, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, like what's helped you. Thank you.